Everyone knows the exact quote, the exact that I'm referring to if you've seen those pockets.
But let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
Yeah, if they think coming off the streets is destroying yourself, man.
Tupac, he really had an issue with Jay-Z. He really didn't like him then.
Everyone knows the exact quote that I'm referring to. If you've seen those pocket, but let's not be selfish. And because we not GNA change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up, man. They think coming off the streets is destroying yourself, Tupac. He really had an issue with Jay-Z. He really didn't like him then. Not at all. Hey. There, have you heard, Tay? Latest buzz rumor has it that there might be more to the classic hip-hop beef between Tupac and Jay-Z than we thought, and get this, Kanye West, Jay-Z's former bestie, is supposedly spilling the tea on an alleged rift between Jay-Z and the notorious Biggie Smalls. Now we all remember the good old days when Jay-Z and Biggie were tight, repping Bedford Season together and creating music that became iconic. It was even their camaraderie that supposedly sparked the infamous feud between Jay-Z and Tupac. But hold on. Kanye is reportedly challenging this narrative, claiming that Jay-Z didn't just have issues with Tupac, but also had some beef with Biggie. It's a jaw-dropping revelation, if true, especially coming from Kanye, who's not known for mincing words. After all, he and Jay-Z used to be tight, so anyone has the inside scoop. It's Kanye, right? The speculation is that Jay-Z might have wanted both Tupac and Biggie out of the picture for some undisclosed reasons. Can you believe it? The hip-hop history thought we knew might be getting a remix now. The burning question is, what exactly is this alleged beef between Jay-Z and Biggie that Kanye is supposedly itching to spill? We promise it's a wild ride, so let's get into it now. The rumor mill just won't quit when it comes to Jay-Z, and the latest buzz is sending shockwaves. People are saying he might have had a hand in taking out his buddy Biggie Smalls, and all for his own gain. Now, I know it sounds like some wild conspiracy, but let's break it down thing. Okay about it. Jay-Z sure did ride the wave of success after Biggie's tragic death, right? And it's not just the fans speculating on this. Even Cassidy spilled the tea in an interview, confirming that there might be some truth to the idea that Jay-Z benefited big time from Biggie's eyes. The interviewer brings up Biggie and asks if he's still considered a top 10 rapper with just 2 albums. Cassidy fires back, defending Biggie's legacy, saying Ready to Die is a timeless classic that's never going to go out of style. He goes on to explain how Biggie made a massive impact in a short time, leaving his mark on the game. Disagree with that. Like, Ready to Die is a classic. It ain't never going to be dated. Like, it's a classic stamp. So I got to disagree with you, but Cassidy points out that there were other artists dropping more albums than Biggie did during that period, yet they still don't get the same level of recognition. It's like Biggie did something special in that short window, influencing tons of folks who came after him. Cassidy kept it real in that interview, going on about how Biggie's impact goes way beyond his own music. He's talking about how Biggie and Pac basically set the stage for a whole wave of artists that came after them. It's not just about their albums, it's about the ripples they caused in the industry. Cassidy breaks it down, saying Biggie and Pac weren't just making their own hits. They were inspiring a whole bunch of others to create classics. According to him, a ton of artists making good music today probably wouldn't have done it if they hadn't heard Biggie and Pac doing their thing back in the day. He throws Jay-Z into the mix, saying we wouldn't have the legend he is now without the influence of Biggie and Pac. Is basically saying these guys changed the game, not just with their own catalogs, but by inspiring a whole generation of artists to step up their game. How would Jay-Z have become Jay-Z that he is if it wasn't for Nas, and I mean for Pac and Big being G out? You know what I'm saying? It's like when Cassidy came in with those punchlines, and everyone had to switch up their style, same deal with Biggie and Pac. They made people change the way they looked at rap, and that shift had a lasting impact. So when you think about it, these dudes aren't just great for their own albums, they're the Oggs who shook up the whole rap scene and left a legacy that still echoes today. The host throws a question at Cassidy, asking if Biggie and Pat kicking the bucket kick and have paved the way for Jay-Z, and Cassidy hits back, saying no, Jay was already in the game. Especially with his killer debut album, Reasonable Doubt, that's Cassidy's personal fave. But here's the twist: Cassidy thinks it was a business move. Big and Pac had everyone's attention, making it a tough road for Jay-Z to claim the title of the best in the game. It would have been a real challenge. If Pac had stuck around, you know what I mean. Cassidy points out that there were other super talented artists in He mix, and with Big and Pac in the scene, it was a competitive battleground once Big and Pac were out of the picture. It was kind of like a clear path for Jay-Z and Nas to duke it out for the top spot. Cassidy spills the beans on how the rap game shifted gears after Biggie and Pac's departure. Jay-Z didn't have to go toe-to-toe with those heavyweights anymore, because Biggie and Pac were out of the picture. But it's a business. And you know what I mean, Big and Pac had everybody attention, so it was hard for him to become Jay-Z, like the best, the top, like you know what I mean. Nobody could with him. Like it would have been difficult if they was around all right. Let's hit the rewind button and go back to the origins of the beef between Tupac and Jay-Z. And of course when he was still on good terms with Biggie until he supposedly switched the flip. So back in the day, there were these rumors flying around that Jay-Z was kind of scared of Tupac. Not because of his lyrical game, but because Tupac had this natural charisma that it factor you can't teach. It's that magnetic quality. You know, Kanye West had it too. Both Tupac and Kanye weren't afraid to speak their minds and call out the music industry, unlike Jay-Z, who was more about the money moves like Diddy. So the beef between Jay-Z and Tupac sparked when Jay teamed up with Tupac's rival Biggie to throw shade at West Coast rappers. Jay and Biggie, both repping New York, became tight buddies in the early 90s. Their collaboration on Jay's track Brook Clan's Finest reportedly set things off with Tupac. Irv Gotti, who worked on Jay's debut album, even warned him about the tensions in the East Coast versus West Coast feud, advising against bringing Biggie on the track. Now Tupac and Biggie were initially cool, but things got messy in '94 after Tupac got shot at the Quad Studios. Tupac thought Biggie and Diddy knew about the hit, but Biggie denied it. The tension between them skyrocketed, and they started trading verbal blows in public just before Jay dropped. Pepped Brooklyn's Finest. Biggie, Who Shot You, hit the scene. Tupac took it as a diss aimed at him, cranking up the East Coast versus West Coast heat. Irv Gotti had reservations about Jay releasing the track, warning about the consequences. But Jay went ahead anyway. Biggie straight up called out Tupac, referring to him as his son, and throwing shade about rumors with Faith Evans, Biggie's wife. Tupac fired back with diss tracks, like Bomb First, My Second Reply, taking direct shots at Jay-Z's. Everyone was expecting Jay to drop a counter disc, but the whole game changed just weeks later. Tupac got fatally shot in Las Vegas, leaving things hanging. Turns out Jay actually wrote a super intense diss track called Scathing, targeting Tupac. Now, at first Jay claimed he didn't want to release it out of respect for Tupac's family, who were still grieving. But guess what? He ended up performing the track live at the Apollo Theater after Tupac had already passed. DJ Clark Kent spilled the tea, saying Scathing had some serious, sly, disrespectful lyrics aimed at Pac. If you can find anybody who was at that show, and Apollo was packed, they will tell you that it was absolutely crazy. The things he now. Why the heck would Jay-Z drop a diss track after Tupac's death? Well, some folks think it's because Jay might have felt a weight off his shoulders. The theory goes that Jay was kind of scared of Tupac, thinking he could never top him in the rap game. In fact, according to Diddy's ex-bodyguard Jenon Deal, Jay was so freaked out by Tupac. See that he once refused to leave his Vegas hotel room when Pac and his crew were in town. Fans aren't buying it though. And they're calling Jay-Z a bit of a snake for not going head-to-head with Pac while he was still alive. Some old-school rappers from that era are spilling the beans, saying Jay had some deep-seated jealousy towards Tupac's charisma and style. Even NS spilled the tea in an interview, claiming Jay seemed bitter about the success of Tupac, Biggie, and DM. Epps apparently Jay once bragged her was a better rapper than all of them, all right. Let's rewind a bit. Back in 2000, NS spilled the beans about a party he went to thrown by Steve Stout. Jay-Z, still holding on to that competitive spirit, was apparently talking some serious smacknass, recounted how Jay claimed he was better than Biggie and went on to say that artists like DMX and Tupac only appealed to those starving on the street. Nas thought he was crazy for saying that, but it didn't stop there. Jay straight up said Tupac and DMX weren't lyricists. Nas wasn't having it and declared Tupac as the greatest ever. End of story. Now, why would Jay-Z be gunning for Biggie, especially when they used to be tight? Well, it's all wrapped up in the Diddy drama. Rumors are swirling that Diddy might have been the one who helped Jay-Z take out Biggie. The theory is if Biggie was still around, Jay-Z wouldn't be sitting on his rap throne right now. But here's the twist in Jay's friendship saga. He cut ties with Kanye the moment Kanye started spilling the